Hello! In this tutorial I will show you how you can add physics to specific bones on a skeletal mesh with multiple branches in UE5. So to begin you will need a skeletal mesh. I have made this simple mesh inside of Blender. Now notice how it has two different branches coming off it. You don't necessarily need this to add physics or whatever, but there is a little trick to importing meshes such as this into Unreal Engine. And that trick is called Kroovy's Mr. Mannequin plugin. It's a free plugin you can download and install to Blender, and with it you can do a whole bunch of Unreal Engine related things, one of which is properly exporting meshes, skeletal meshes such as this one. Now, I don't know why or what it does exactly, but for some reason it gets a little complicated importing this stuff into Unreal, so this plugin just makes it a whole lot easier. So just select your armature and mesh. Go to File, Export, and select Mr. Mannequin FBX. Here you have a whole bunch of different settings, but basically we need to export meshes, and we may need to make sure that Add Leaf Bones is checked off, and also the object forward axis is -y and up axis is z. So once you hit OK, it's going to export your mesh. So then once you're inside Unreal, you can import the mesh. Just find wherever you stored the file and drag and drop that into your content browser. You need to set skeletal mesh to true, set the skeleton to none so it will make a new skeleton, and down here I'm just making sure that it's not making any new materials or textures for me either. So then I'm going to hit import all, and as you can see it now creates the skeletal mesh, physics asset and skeleton asset. Now if you open up the physics asset, you can see that these capsules here have been attached to all these bones. This one's rotated a little funny. Hang on. There, that's better. Now these are actually what's going to simulate the physics. So it's not the cubes, but the capsules. And there's one capsule here that won't be simulating physics because I want to attach this to my character. If I would simulate physics on every single one of these capsules, then it would fall to the ground instead of attached to my character. So, in order to make these all simulate physics, we can select all of them by holding Shift. And under physics type, we can set this to simulated. And this one's not going to move. We set the physics type to kinematic. Now then, to attach this mesh to our character, we go to third person blueprints BP third person character, we go into the viewport and we find our mesh. So here that's character mesh. Now I'm going to click add and say skeletal mesh. Now for the skeletal mesh asset we are going to grab the mesh that we just imported. It's a little big, so let me just, there we go. And here we can set a parent socket. This is why we have to make sure it is a child of the mesh component, because then we get all of the bones from our mesh component. I'm going to attach this to the head of my character. Now of course it's on sideways. There we go. This is definitely going to look ridiculous, but now we go down here and say simulate physics. Now one more thing before this can simulate physics is here in the collision tab. We have collision presets, and you can set this to whatever you want. Just make sure it has collision at all. So I'm going to use pawn. Yes, as you can see, it looks just as ridiculous as I thought, but it does work. So this is how you can add physics to pretty much any bone that you want with multiple branching bones and whatnot. You can use this for things like ropes or weapons, slings, or tiny talismans or whatever. If you found this tutorial helpful, please let me know by leaving a like or a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them there as well. Also be sure to check out Kroovy's Mr. Mannequin plugin. I'll leave a link to that down in the description, and good luck!